Good morning, all. Good morning to all the dignitaries, faculty members, students of Vidya Jyoti Institute of Technology. For today's session, all that count is right attitude. This webinar is organized by Vidya Jyoti Institute of Technology, an autonomous institute with the motto Engineering Engineers. Today we have with us the most dynamic lady leader, vibrant speaker, and an inspiration to many, Miss Anandita Sinha, inspiring the positive change. My pleasure to welcome you, ma'am, to this session. And I'm on behalf of Vidya Jyoti Institute of Technology. This is Sridevi here, welcoming you once again. Before we go ahead with the session, I request all the participants to mute their audio for the smooth conduction of the session. I now request our principal ma'am, Dr. A. Padmaja ma'am, to formally welcome today's speaker, Mrs. Anandita Sinha.
Good morning, Madam Anandita. Madam, are you able to hear? Hello? Good morning, ma'am. I think she said she has already joined.
I request the participants to be a little patient. Maybe there is some sort of a technical glitch.
Hello, are you able to hear, Madam? Can you speak? Yeah, can you? No. Can you speak once, Madam, so that we'll able to? Yeah. Your voice is not audible here. Just can you speak? Yeah. No. No, what name you are there, madam, in this? No, you have to click the Zoom link, madam. Okay. Oh, no, don't click YouTube. Zoom link I have sent. I will say, morning I have sent, no? It's the same link you. I will share it again, otherwise. Right.
Ma'am has joined me.
I'm so sorry for the confusion. I mean, it's from my side. I'm really sorry.
No excuse required, ma'am. To have you on our show itself is a big thing for us.
No,
So
no, please don't embarrass me. I mean, y'all are all very learned people, and okay, I mean, y'all are the pillars for the future success. All other institution in itself. We are just into the corporate world. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I could hear you welcome me, so we need not repeat it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
okay, then I'll go ahead with the session. Now I
Sure, sure.
request our principal ma'am, Dr. A. Padmaja ma'am, to formally welcome you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, you're not audible. Ma'am, I think you're muted.
No, it is not. My it is unmuted.
No, I'm talking to principal ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning to all the participants of today's webinar. I take the privilege of welcoming Mrs. Anindita Mukherjee Sinha, who is handling such a prestigious and dynamic portfolio of being the head of corporate communications L&T Metro Rail Limited Hyderabad, along with many other important portfolios. Today, I feel our students and faculty who have joined the session will be highly fortunate to listen to a great speaker who voices what she believes. The topic chosen is very important, especially to the students and also the faculty who are in the stage of shaping themselves. It is very imperative for the budding professionals to build the right attitude as it reflects directly at the success you will achieve, and particularly when it has an impact with positive attitude. Positivity, all of you know that positivity makes it easier to achieve your goals. That's because when you are in the positive frame of mind, you can make better decisions, you can improve your health, it helps you to grow to the higher level. I feel assured that for the next 1.5 hours, all of you are in the hands of an expert who can guide you to build the right attitude, bringing optimism into you. As you adopt it as a way of life, which will bring constructive changes to let you all be more successful. I thank Mrs. Anindita Sinha for sparing her valuable time with us and immediately accepting our invitation to address our faculty and students on this important topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes. And I now, taking the session forward, I would like to start with introducing the distinguished speaker of today's session. A lady who is so simple in appearance, yet has a long list of notable achievements. A lady so beautiful and soft to look, yet have excelled in handling the positions of power with ease. It is none other than Miss Anindita Mukherjee Sinha, Head of Corporate Communications, L&T Metro Rail Limited, Hyderabad. Anandita Sinha, a professional with experience close to 3 decades, excels in integrated communication, reputation management, and strategy formulation. Have a proven track record as an effective crisis communicator and spokesperson. She also shouldered the responsibility of being the co-chair for Ashkam's National EODB Council, presently the chair for CII Telangana's Culture and Tourism Council, IWN Core Council member, co-chair for FTCCI's Infra Smart City and Real Estate Council, and chair for Public Relation Council of India's Hyderabad chapter, winner of several leadership awards, speaker at various forums, and with experience in business excellence as CSR. She is also the presiding officer of ICC committee in her organization for POSH. She multitasks with handling media relations, branding, marketing communication, digital media, employee engagement, internal communications, network and advocacy. Oh, the list goes on untiringly, just like her, who has never had a boring day. It's a pleasure welcoming you, ma'am, to Vidya Jyoti Institute of Technology. And I'm excited to be a part of this session, which I'm sure is going to be very engaging and empowering. Now the session is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much, first of all, Dr. Padmaja, for giving me this opportunity to address your students, your institute, and thinking that maybe my words can be of some good to your students. I hope it does. Also, thank you, Sridevi ma'am. Thank you so much for those lovely words. One thing, yes, a few things which you have said are not written in my profile, but I don't know how you got so right. Yes, not a single day is boring for me. And that is the attitude which I keep in myself. And that is all what keeps me going. Lovely for your words also, that I look quite soft, but let me tell you, I'm quite a hard nut. And ask my my team members from every organization. They actually, maybe I'm sure they say she's a big villain. So thank you so much. Yes, so attitude, it all what it counts in today's date. Whatever we do is the attitude what we display. In fact, these type of discussions I always prefer one on one, when I go to the students and go around the auditorium and speak to them and speak, but unfortunately the time is so that we are not being able to do something. So I mean, it doesn't become so interactive. See, if you go with the definition, what attitude is, it's someone's opinion or feeling, something usually what you show by your personal behavior. So a right attitude, what happens is, it leads to your productivity, the good, the betterment in your life, the success, however you define it, because each person has its own definition of success, and the good working environment. Attitude involves the feelings, values, beliefs, and disposition that make individuals to behave in a certain way. Like, when I'm speaking to you, I will try to give my best to you. So this is my attitude towards professionalism. When I mean, very simple things in life. When I'm cooking something at home, I try to give it best to my mind and my soul to it. And, as they say, that a good chef or a good cook can feel the taste, and think about the taste. You feel the taste, but you don't think about the taste. But a good chef think what it means, that the cooking, when you're doing it, goes to your mind. When you're studying, okay, for the students, or for anyone, if you're reading a book also, forget students, you give your soul into it. That's why you love doing that job. I would say, when you choose a career, you choose a career where you can give your heart. Don't do by the pressure that you have to be someone or something. Why? Because your maybe some other friends are doing it, or your cousins are doing it. No, you should know, assess yourself, that what is good, what is best for you, what are you capable at. Like, for example, I am extremely weak in math. I mean, good that I'm not in front of y'all. Otherwise, y'all would have just, cornered me like anything, all the learned people here. Now, if I would have been thinking that, oh, I have to take up maths, I have to take up science, and do some wonders in my life, it would have been a wrong decision. So my attitude towards life was and should be, for everyone, that I should be able to do what I'm good at and give my best to it. So when we say she or he has an attitude, it means to a large extent that her style, the character, the personality, what she radiates, what she emits. It's one individualistic approach towards life. Now, there it comes that how you develop yourself to have the right attitude. So we are born with attitudes and individualistic traits. We all know that certain things are genetic, certain things the environment does to us. So as we and in the primitive years of our life, we are not able to form a decision between right or wrong. So till 5 years of age, we generally go by the what our mind tells us to do. Or what we do is, we want to have something what you want to do. A small child, what he or she does, a small child, what it does is, suppose they wants a toy. He wants a toy. The logical reasoning power is not available. I mean, it's not developed yet at that point of time. So his or that kid's attitude towards that situation is that I want this. Now, suppose something is not very right, what the kid is asking for or crying for, but the kid is not being able to discriminate between right and wrong because the logical reasoning is not developed yet. So we are born with some attitude, individualistic trait, and then slowly what happens is we, in the course of time, as we grow up, we come to know what is right and wrong, and then we go on, keep on developing ourselves. So we are grown up with certain values. Some we acquire in the journey, but how many of us stick to those good values in the run? That is something important. So that is all what attitude will take you forward. You should, because you are honestly your own mentor. You know, no one can be a better mentor to yourself than your own self, inner self. So when you think, because see, no one can cheat or lie to the subconscious. So when you think about it, that this is what I should do, this is right for me, this is ethical for me, this is with my values which have been brought up by my parents, that becomes slowly your attitude, and that becomes the right attitude, whether it's in your personal life and your professional life. Right attitude is something which not only sticks to your professional life but your personal life also, because it's a 360-degree approach. We get influenced while crossing paths with people who we happen to meet and interact in the every walks of life. So what happens is, when we see some good example, we imbibe. At times what happens, we get manipulated, maybe at times it happens, we are human beings, by a wrong example. So there again our attitude changes towards that particular project, particular day, particular situation, and also towards the particular, towards your life rather. So people change as experiences in life that we often get. As per the experience we get, at times our psyche changes, mentality changes. Work as manifestation. These works as manifestation to our behavioral pattern. Like suppose this COVID period. So COVID period, we have, many researchers have found, other than the physical elements what we are having, many behavioral change in patterns, pattern changes have happened in human life. So what is happening? The situation is, influencing us, So there is the time when you have to have enough strength of mind to judge between the right and wrong, ethical and non-ethical. Suppose if it is safety we have to adhere to, we have to adhere to. So this is the situational influence what comes upon us, that where we, our attitude towards life changes. So now, when we say that, he or she has changed in life, we often say, he wasn't like this earlier, she wasn't like this earlier, but we can see that, she has changed over a period of time, whether for bad or for good. So that is nothing but the peripheral influence which are coming up, which is making that person change, which making us change. So there is something we have to hold on to, the right attitude, what exactly it means. Now, attitude covers, as I said, the 360-degree of you in personal life and professional life. Now the question you must be thinking, okay, she's talking about that you should have a right. What is a right attitude? Well, we must here comprehend and rather accept the idea that right and wrong are perspectives. We all know that maybe at times what is right to you may not be right to me. What is, you say that this is good for this situation may not be the same. But there are certain things, like our values, beliefs, like you have your mission statement of your institution. So, though they are the pertinent right and, right values which are already documented. And this does not it's not made just like that, without any, you get up in the morning and say, chalo, ek line likh lete hai. No, nothing like that. Thought process goes behind it, and very wise brain, learned brain goes behind it, so informing a mission and vision of a company, the motto of any educational institute, and also the person in you, what suppose, you do something wrong. From the childhood, your mother tells you, don't do this. This is not right. So there are certain values which are considered to be right because they are wise. Not that every action is right or wrong, which we are talking about, but it is the wise, the proven, universal proven fact which cascades down to us, with which if we go ahead in our life, it gives us good. It brings us good. It gives us a successful, career. It gives us peace. It gives us happiness. So that is what is right attitude. So so who decides what is right and wrong? Now it is you who need to think and decide what should be the right attitude for you, which means that what is good for you. Because I cannot tell you, maybe I can just guide you towards a certain goal in life, to your future, but it is you who have to decide that this is good for me and this is not right for me, and accordingly I should address my life. So when you're addressing your life with the attitude or the behavior what you're having, that exactly is the right attitude. So, right attitude, when you have the right behavioral pattern, your, disposition, the way you are leading your life, the discipline, what you have towards your life, those, can glide you smoothly towards achieving your goals in life, your targets in your life, your aspirations you have in life. All of us have some aspirations. You are studying today with some aspirations that tomorrow you'll work in a good corporate, or you will be an entrepreneur opening your own startup. You'll be a teacher. You will join another education institute. So some goals, some targets, some aspirations are there in your life. So those, when you're addressing with the right, disciplined, and a proper format, that is all what you're doing is through your right attitude. So when we talk about goals, we generally say, my goal is to do this, my goal is to do that, and so on and so forth. But many a times we have seen that either we become, we fail in meeting our goals, or what happens is we struggle to reach there. Okay, so it does not become a very cakewalk for all of us. Why? Because goals, when we say that my goal is to do this, we'll leave it at that many a times. Now, goals, I'm sure you must have read earlier also, but let me just reiterate for some people who have not. Goals always should be SMART goals. And when I'm saying SMART goals, it does not mean that it will bring you a lot of money or it will make you the CEO. SMART goals means, if you abbreviate SMART. I'm sorry, someone's microphone is not on mute. If you can, please. I just request everyone, unless you have an answer, raise your hand. Otherwise, all of you, please mute your microphones. Thank you so much.
So, once again, request
no problem.
Please mute.
So when we are talking about SMART goals means specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, relevant, and timely. So even like you have your exam, maybe your semester exam. So you say, my goal is to reach this percentage of this percentage. Define your goals, how you're going to reach. It should be specific. Your plan to reach that goal should be specific. It should be measurable. Suppose you have a month with you. So you have to define the dates. You have to break down the dates, D minus so and so, D minus, D minus 15, D minus 14, or if you have a month with you, D minus 30. That way you have to measure that. Okay, so here I go, I complete this much of my portion. Here I go, and then with the revision, everything, I will be reaching this percentage, what I'm achieving. Suppose it's 90% or 95%. Attainable. How is it attainable? Whether it can be attainable. Now, achievement is something which gives you happiness. So you have to think from that angle. If you think that only I have to get the score just to get a good percentage only, or just so that later point in my life, this percentage will give me a good job, it will be a struggle for you. You have to see that what you want to achieve is by love. It was your choice that you are in this institute, you are studying this particular course. So that passion, that inner happiness should be there. You should be happy in what you're doing. Again, attitude, your attitude towards looking at your future. That is, and it should be relevant also, as I said, and timely. Now you have to step by step, when you're doing the your calculations of the dates, where that, okay, my revision will start from this and everything, please adhere to the time. So if everything goes in a very nice way, you would find that it's just it's a hobby which you're pursuing. I'll later on, I'll just give you some examples of my life, if I have time, where this is what, if you're happy in doing, trust me, y'all will be engineers very soon, technological experts. I am, if I compare myself with you all, I'll find myself unqualified. Trust me, I am extremely unqualified compared to you all. But the passion, the love in what I have always done in my life has brought me to some position in life. Nothing is perfect, nothing is ideal, and change is the only constant, which we all know. Change is the only constant. So today I cannot say I've achieved everything. I'm happy. I have reached the summit of my success. No. First of all, success is again perspective, and second thing, one can never reach the summit. There's always, once you reach the summit, as you play your video games, your PlayStations or the games you play, the levels go on. The levels keep on extending. Life is just like that. So once you cross this level, you think you're happy. You should be rather ready to go to the next level. So without these aspects in consideration, what aspects? How I abbreviated the word SMART. Goals should always be SMART: specific, measurable, relevant, attainable, relevant, and timely. SMART. So once you these aspects you keep in consideration, you will walk in life like, if you don't, you will be properly guided. Otherwise, what happens? You will be just walking like a radarless ship. Now, what does a radar do? It detects the presence, the direction, the distance, speed, object, everything. So a radar guides a ship. Otherwise, it can be there can be a shipwreck, and the ship cannot reach the destination. Okay, so like that. What happens is, if you go by a certain path, following how you do your math, you follow some formulas in life. So certain formulas are definitely required in life, which can lead you to solving that particular problem in math. Similarly, which can lead you to attaining the first goal what you have set for yourself. So don't be a radarless ship. Always go with the direction, with everything, with smart goal approach. Now, success, I'll come to success. What is success? It is reaching or attaining the targets and goals set by you. Okay, as you can relate to the SMART goals also. So the success is which is productive to you, conducive for you, as you had decided for yourself. So you have to decide what is success for you. Maybe even if it's like your mom tells you to do something at home and you do it properly, that is success. Every aspect of life, even if I'm while I'm talking to you, it is not only I can see some new people joining, some people are leaving. So I am feeling myself good to talk to you. I am ignoring the peripherals. You should always see at a larger picture. And whatever you do, every step has a learning for you in life. When I'm speaking to you after the session, I'll feel, I think I should have said that. I think I should have taken that reference. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll better myself in my next session. So there's always a learning for you. And when I'm speaking to you, I'm feeling happy. The good words which ma'am said for me, I felt happy. I consider this success for me. Only for this session. So what I'm saying is that you have short-term goals and you have long-term goals. One should have in life. So whenever you're completing even a small core in the house, that should be done in a way that you feel happy, and that is exactly what success brings for you. You know, that is success for you. That happiness which you get, because when you're feeling happy, which means that you believe in yourself, that you have done the work as it was expected from you. That is exactly success for you. You know, so similarly, when you go to a particular, you get a particular grade, you feel happy. That is success for that particular point of time. There cannot be a particular definition of success always in your life. It changes from time to time, from your age, with your experience. So as you proceed in life, you will enter either the corporate world or whatever, even if it's a institution. Trust me, it's a different world altogether. You know, at home, you can be relaxed, you can be casual, you can take things for granted. But my dear friends, in a professional world, you cannot take things for granted. At the same time, if you deliver as per the organization or the educational institute's expectation, no one should take you for granted either. That is again a aspect of attitude a person should have. Neither I should take someone for granted, nor the person or whoever it is take me for granted. And to go to that level of thinking, to that confidence, to the belief, you should put in a lot of hard work and make your presence. Making presence does not mean that you wear best of your attire and you can speak well. No. People feel you as a credible entity, whether as a student or as a employee or as a boss, even a boss. You should make yourself in a credible situation, credible position that people look up to you. You know, and that, trust me, comes from immense dedication, hard work. You know, not your definition of hard work, okay? Because we always, human beings, we have a tendency of being very complacent and happy with ourselves that, oh, this is the best I could do. Maybe the expectation is much more from you. So it is not your definition of hard work only. Maybe you perceive, it's all about perception. You perceive that you have done a lot of hard work. Did it or does it yield the result what the company expects from you? Does it contribute to the financial target the company has given you? You have done a lot of hard work. You have done a lot of hard work in your studies. Did it reach you to somewhere where it was defined, something was defined for you, a particular figure or a number? That is the hard work you have to put in. Don't be complacent about what only you are doing. Okay, so that there always has to be a scope for perfection. Always. Everything what you do in life, you just give a pause and or you do it and again do it after 7 days, you'll find the difference. Why? If it is the best, you shouldn't, but you will find. Even for your studies, suppose you studied to your best at one semester, you got something. Okay. Next semester, if you work harder, you will see that you have got some a higher, percentage. So there's nothing, called a constant. Change is the only constant. So learn to work, work hands-on. I'll tell you my example. I was completely an operations person. I works in Airports Authority of India in the Department of Operations in Calcutta and also Kolkata and also in Mumbai. So I was completely a operations person. Now, of course, my post-graduation was in public relations communication, and after finishing my English honors from Calcutta University. So, you know, I thought that, okay, so I have learned operations, and I've worked in operations for a large, for many number of years, from, you can say, from 93 to 2006, long time. Then since I did my PR, I thought that no, now, okay, so I had to take the job because I had to take at that point of time. Then when I got an opportunity, I changed over to corporate communication for Mumbai Airport. And I was the spokesperson also for Mumbai Airport. Now, I did not become spokesperson is a huge responsibility, trust me, which means that one single word you say wrong, you are accountable for that. And such a big organization, such a big installation establishment like Mumbai Airport. So it did not happen over just in a day. It happened over a part of time. Okay, so so what happens is I learned start doing work hands-on, even if it was not my area of work. But since it was a new department which we were building for Mumbai Airport, because Mumbai Airport was it belonged to the government, and privatization happened, and a private group took over Mumbai Airport. So everything was new. Now, if all the work which we did there, trust me, it's a big learning platform for me, whatever I've learned. And that is only because every work I tried doing myself, even if it was not my forte, not my type of work. Once you learn working hands-on, later part of your life, even if you have 1,000 people under you working, 100 people or whatever number of people, you know the pulse of that particular work. Why I'm coming slowly to the professional part is because you are already now, thinking about a professional career, about your career. So no, trust me, no one can fool you. No one can fool you because you know the pulse of each and every work. Again, attitude. The attitude with which you think that this is good for you. This is a learning from you. Every step in life is a learning, medium. You just have to, as they say, that opportunity does not knock at your door. When it does, invite it with open arms. Never lose an opportunity to learn. So those are the learnings which made me today a confident individual, what I am today. I have full confidence that this I can do. This is achievable for me. You should know what is achievable. They say dream big. I'll never say dream big. Big, small, again, very perspective. Dream achievable. Dream what you can achieve. And dreams should be achievable. Okay, it's just not, otherwise they become daydreams. You dream big to do something big, to go somewhere. Big means what? Maybe you dream to be a scientist. You dream to be the chief of state, the chief of country. Achievable. You just have to go through the SMART goal process where you can achieve. So link objectives to business. When you're working as a professional, you have to link your objectives and the business's objectives. The objective means that what you are responsible for that company. Be on the same page with the mission vision. Like you should be on the same page as your institution have a motto. I'm sure that it has a motto. Every educational institute has some vision, mission, and motto. So you should be in the same page, which means you are owning it. Ownership here is very, very important. Owning up your work. Whether you are an employee or you are a student of an institution, please try to own up. Unless you own up, you cannot be on the same page. And then again, the term attitude comes. That is the right attitude, to be on the same page, what your institution guides you with, what your organization tells you to do, or has a mission for you. It does not have a mission for itself only. it has a mission for you, because employees are the biggest brand ambassadors. So aligning your objectives and the organization objective leads to success. Success again means leads to a perfect way of delivering things, what is expected from you, not only what you can do. Be immensely well aware and well read. There cannot be any other simpler way of leading your life than, without knowledge. And knowledge does not only comes from your academics. Extra or current affairs, your extracurriculars, whatever you're doing, whatever is happening around. Now, this COVID situation, have you noticed one thing that yes, there are some people who are not adhering to the norms, and maybe that is one of the reasons why we are still not being able to control, and the the figures are going up and up and up. But one thing very good about whatever has happened is, in sociology, there's a term called collective effervescence. So this collective effervescence is nothing but everyone coming together and speaking the same language, being on the same page. This is the attitude what we all have we should develop, and we have developed. Indians have developed. Even if maybe you're not following the norms as it is supposed to be, but at least you know what are the precautions for corona should be. So which means what the government is telling you, you also know that. Thought is same. You are on the same page. Yes, it is your indiscipline. It is your carelessness, callousness, which is leading you not to follow it. And of course, there are other sociological factors also for reasons why many people, it's very easy for us to speak from the AC room, but at the grassroots level, there are very, valid reasons why people are not being able to follow all the norms. So that's a different discussion altogether. Again, the attitude, what you have towards your life, how you are seeing it. I am seeing it with a different attitude. You're seeing it with a different attitude. I'm talking about the present situation. So we have to see the attitude, what I'm showing towards safety, showing towards the present societal situation, what we have in the country, the economic condition. It's just trying to limp back to normalcy, but it's on the plunge. Okay, so suppose you see that yes, the attitude, the economics really it's in a big plunge. What is my responsibility as a corporate citizen? I should minimize my resources. I should optimize my resources. Maybe I should have a very, economical way of, dealing life, spending, my spending nature. You're being responsible. Your attitude towards the country, which always, it's again becoming a good attitude, a productive attitude for your own self, for your family. So again, I'll just bring back this line. Attitude is what you are displaying, your disposition, your behavior towards a particular situation or life. That is, the right attitude. Whether, you are, okay. And another thing I have to tell you is, you have to track your progress qualitatively and quantitatively, both, not only qualitative. It should be tangible. Then only you can, really succeed, or you can get you can reach your result. Okay. Failures. I don't think there's anyone here who can say I've never faced failure in my life. Somewhere or the other, big or small, there has to be some failures in life. Failures are the starting point to your next deliverable, which can make you taste success. So if you brood over your failure, you are just wasting your time. Nothing more than that. You are just wasting your time. You just get up. Okay, there can be some mental depression at times. You have to get over it, because whether you have to feel whether I am, this is the end of my life, or I have something beautiful to look after. Life is the beautiful gift from God. What are we looking at? small failures here and there, the non-deliverables here and there, doesn't really make any sense. Move on. Now, I just want to tell you one thing is communication. Since I'm from the field, now you might say that why I need to learn communication. Communication is required in everyday life. From the time you get up in the morning, and the first thought what you have after opening your eyes in the morning is communication. You first communicate yourself. You're thinking. That is a communication with yourself. You get up, you communicate with your mom. Mom, I'll just go out for college at this time. Each and every minute, second in your life is about communication. And the day goes bad when you say that it was a bad day. Think back and see. Maybe there was some communication issues. Maybe the way you have spoken to someone, it was not required. Maybe what someone has spoken to you and you gave back an answer, you thought, oh, you did the right thing. Maybe it should have been avoided. Otherwise, it just left you a bad taste in life, in the day. Maybe you end up in a fight with your mom or your dad, your sibling. All about communication. You just have to be a good communicator. And when you say you have to be a good communicator, which means that here listening and speaking, communication in both ways. So when the both ends do not meet, there the tussle comes. Again, your attitude in life should be to communicate well, so that there are no misunderstandings as much as possible in life. So there's a difference between being connected and being contact. Between your contact and connection. We have seen that we have contacts with people, but we are not connected with them. I'll just give you very quickly a small example. Once, Swami Vivekananda was walking in New York, and someone a journalist came and started taking that, I want to interview you, and all that. Or how do you be connected with God? What do you mean by being connected with God? So Swami Vivekananda asked him that, tell me, now let me ask you some questions. Last time you speak with your dad? He said, yeah, I speak every second day. I speak with him. So, okay. So when have you last met him? When did you sit with him? And gradually he asked some questions that when did you last have dinner with your family together, all of you, or the entire family together? When did you last visit your siblings and just hugged your sister maybe? So the journalist was lost out of word. So then Swami Vivekananda said, my dear friend, this is the difference between just having contacts and being connected. You call, hi, hello, you have the contact, but connection is when you feel for that person and you feel the person similarly the person also needing you in life to be connected. So this is the difference between being just in contact and remaining connected, which we are missing mostly in our life because of our busy schedules or having to stay as a nuclear family, many reasons. But this contact and connection, if we can bridge the gap again with the attitude, what we should do for a peaceful living is again, keeps us together. In management, I'm sure many of y'all have studied the Johari window. The Johari window, actually, it is the most effective tool. You just try this tool and you see whether it works you or not. I 100%, because it's a proven result. Now, again, right and wrong, which we are talking, this is a proven result. And when we say proven result, when it is accepted by a mass, the mass, okay, majority accepts, more or less, we take it as a right philosophy. So Johari window is one of the most effective tool. And pardon me if you already know about it, but for some who do not know, I just want to say it is one of the most effective tool for developing self-awareness and opening up lines of communication with others. It helps us to understand, the self-awareness and human interaction. that results from our personal self-awareness. So it's all about self-awareness. The objective of the Johari window, you can later on go and search on internet and do a broad study. I really highly recommend you do a study on Johari window, and it will solve most of your problems in your professional life, in your as your student life, and your personal life at home also. The objective of the Johari window is to improve our perceptual process. Again, which we said, I spoke earlier that it's all about perception. I perceive something to be right, and this is the way it should be. You perceive in a different way. So it helps our perceptual process. It encourages disclosure and feedback to increase your own open area. I'll just come quickly on that Johari window has 4 windows. It is actually a tool coined by 2 gentlemen, and Johari mainly it's taken the 2 first letters of both the names, John and Harry something. So Johari, that's where it is said. So it is to increase our own open area, reduce the blind and hidden area and unknown areas. So Johari window has 4 quadrants, 4 squares, 4 windows. One is open self. Open self is known to you. You know about yourself, others know about you. Mostly it is at home, your parents and all. Second is hidden self, known to you, but unknown to others. There are certain things in you, maybe your parents also don't know about it. As we grow up, we all have our individual, secrets about us and thinking, which we may not everything we share with our parents or friends. That is the hidden self. Third is the blind self, unknown to you, known to others. This is where, we mostly things go wrong. We don't know that this is my shortcoming because we are human beings. We have a tendency not to believe our shortcomings. Okay, we really have to be magnanimous to think about what are our shortcomings, that we have shortcomings first of all, and what we are incapable of doing. Third is the blind self, which is unknown to self, but known to others. Maybe you don't know something about yourself, but the person seeing you very closely, your siblings, maybe your parents, maybe your close teachers, maybe they know about you. You have to accept that blind self in you. Fourth is, I'm not going very broadly. Fourth is the mystery self. This is something really, 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 really very complicated, which unknown to you, unknown to others. And there, the biggest conflict, it happens. Because you don't know what you're doing. The person doesn't understand you or know certain aspect about you. So it is I really recommend in your free time, do a very broad study about this Johari window. It will 100%, if you follow it and if you remember it, if you really comprehend and keep it in your mind always, because human mind is very volatile, we tend to forget. It will help you in your personal life, in your professional life, 100%. So it is basically seeing the larger picture, ignoring petty hurdles in life. You must be crossing so many petty things, and you get involved in transactional, some issues, which maybe after 2 days you think about it, you will feel, this was not needed at all. Why did I get involved and wasted my time in that? So always think at a larger picture. Whenever these petty hurdles come, some people might try to pull you down, ignore. Don't go into wasting your time, because every minute in life is valuable for you, important for you, and you're wasting a part of your valuable time. Now, see what happens is basically from the Johari window, you understand this ego issues, that's blind self and what we spoke about. Having self-ego is not bad, but we have to see whether it is ruling our life. Letting go of thing is to be mastered, and that is the art. Let go. We can let it go, not getting too much into it. Let us proceed ahead and move ahead in life, because we have better things to do in life. We all know, Freud's philosophies and all. So Freud developed the psychoanalytic theory of personality development, which argued that personality is formed through conflicts, See, which I said, that peripheral, in the beginning I spoke about. Conflicts among 3 fundamental structures of the human mind. And he basically, and again, I will not go into too detail, on a very broader way. In three different differentiators, he has bucketed it. One is ID, ego, and superego. So basically, ID, what happens is, you are, the ID is the source of all your psychic energy, making it the primary component of your personality. You maybe you're born with it. So the ego develops from the ID. Okay, your ego develops from the ID which you're born with, and ensures that the impulses of the ID which you have, which you are born with, that ego. So the three egos, ID, ego, and superego, can be expressed in a manner which is acceptable to the world. Superego provides the guidelines of making adjustments. So maybe we have seen that mostly, he said that it is mostly developed from 5 years of age. As we said, that before that, we don't have the analytical thinking, what is right and wrong. So, this is a very interesting study. So interaction of this ID, ego, and superego, and how you balance them, because the imbalance of it becomes detrimental without your knowledge. There you have to master the art, and that is having the right attitude. These three they make form the attitude in you. These three components, as Mr. Freud said. So again, these three, imbalance of it gives the wrong attitude in you, and if you balance it properly, brings the right attitude in you to approach life, to see life ahead. So that is where you develop yourself as a successful individual, a happy individual, a very learned individual, educated individual. And by education, I always don't mean qualified. Trust me. Qualification, education, there is a huge gap which you must understand, and you will slowly understand. You will find many qualified people with highest of degrees and all, but education is consciousness, your awareness. Many people lack that, unfortunately. Many people lack that in today's world. So you will find them, many educated people also committing some crime. They are qualified. Why are they doing it? Lack of awareness, consciousness. So human mind is extremely, it's a huge subject. It's a vast subject. So, you have to motivate yourself. No one else can motivate you the way you can motivate yourself. You have to do self-introspection. Through self-introspection, you can motivate yourself. And once you motivate yourself, you'll have the right attitude to do a particular work in life, to see the world, to behave with people at home, to respect people, to agree with people, to open a healthy debate. Not necessarily you have to say yes to everything, but healthy debate should be there instead of conflict. So there's always difference between debate and argument. So that you have to master the art of debate. And these all will form the right attitude for you, with which you can sail life in a very comfortable way. Fear is okay, but don't let the fear. See, you should have the fear that your exam is nearing. So I have to study well. That fear is good, constructive fear. But at the time of exam, since you did not study, if you have the fear, it will spoil your exam. That is not, that becomes a counterproductive fear. So that difference you have to create. Fear is good to make you do something productive, study well. But when at the time of exam, if you still go with fear and you write with fear, it will be counterproductive. So you have to master that, till what extent and where I can take my fear. Another thing is change and adaptability. Again, it makes you approach the world with the right attitude. It is we have to accept the fact that it is now the survival of the fittest. And it doesn't mean that you go and fight with someone. No, who has a better edge will go a step forward. It doesn't mean the person who's at the step back, he or she could do nothing in life. But you have to be agile. You have to be energetic. You have to be enthusiastic, and you have to adapt to change. If you don't adapt to change, you will remain where you are, not being able to progress anywhere further in life. So again, the attitude you have to develop yourself, and the right attitude can make you change to and adaptable to change in life. So I would like to end here by saying a quote, which is one of my very favorite quotes, that your talent determines what you can do. Please listen, even if you don't like hearing me, write it somewhere and read it later at later stage of life. Your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you're willing to do. You motivate yourself to do something, how much you're willing to do. Your attitude determines how well you can do it. Just bear with me. I'll repeat it once again. Your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you're willing to do. Your attitude determines how well you can do it. So your attitude towards life is all it counts, which is right attitude, because your right attitude is good for you, right for you in life, for your future. It will only determine how well you can do it, and the better you can do it, you taste success. Lastly, the word attitude. If you break the letters, taking A as 1, add on all the letters, A, T, T, I, T, U, D, E, A as 1, it equals to 100. Do the calculation and see, it equals to 100, which means right attitude is nothing but giving your 100% to life, be it professional or be it personal. Success is yours. Whatever the way you want to see your life to be, that is success for you, which makes you happy, which gives you peace. And of course, whatever you have dreamt in your life, achievable dreams. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm ready to take any questions if you all have. Else, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Before we go into the next part, that is the query session, I would like to just to give a brief on how you have. That is very difficult to summarize the whole thing because it's really filled with so much of content. One thing I would like to say, which I felt it is a wow statement, is life is like a video game, which has always a next level to try. And this, I think, is definitely going to touch our students because this generation is very much addicted to gaming. So I thank you very much for this excellent session with so many real life examples that you have given to drill in the concept of right attitude, importance of hard work, and the definition of success. You are worthy advice on how we should opt to do what we are good at and how we have to give the best at it. To make it our individualistic approach to life, and also your suggestion on how we should be our own mentor to our inner self, while definitely this is an important point that our students and everybody of us have to keep in mind is value the values that our parents have imbibed in us, making it to discipline ourselves in our professional as well as personal lives, a perspective in a 360 degree sphere.
Also the teachers impart great values to us.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. And with your permission, I will go ahead with the query session, or let us call it an interactive session. We have some of the students who have joined into the Zoom session. Maybe the students, I request you to please unmute yourself, and you can also switch on the video. We have
Sridevi ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, we have some YouTube questions. First, I'll ask those questions.
Okay, sir. So, ma'am, we have some.
With your permission, ma'am. With your permission, ma'am. We have a few YouTube, YouTube viewers also there. They are asking few questions. I'll explain. I'll dictate those questions, ma'am. So, one question from Madhuri Madhavi, ma'am. There are people who try to pull us down even after giving 100% of our work and done excellent work. How to cope up with such situations?
First of all, while I was speaking, I did mention that you should look at the larger picture. There will be, in fact, I just told the same things. There will be many people who wants to pull you down. So if you get entangled in solving the petty issues, you would not be able to do anything better in life. So just ignore the petty tussles. Just ignore, because after 2 days, they will forget you. You will forget you. You have nothing to do with them. They'll have nothing to do with you. But if you get involved and you get bogged down, they will go away, continuing their own bad work, maybe somewhere with someone else. But you will be left back, and you will be wasting a part of your valuable time. I'll tell you my example. When I was a student, I mean, I'll just tell you very honestly, I always had some retention disability. I still have, trust me. I cannot, if you suppose the speech, if anyone would have told me mug it up and say, I won't be able to do. I have retention disability. So I try to understand things. I try to realize things. I take it in me, and then only I can, I perform. So I was never good in my result. There were, I mean, very less number of times that I scored over. In our time, ICSE, we had ICSE, and in our time, scoring 60% was a huge thing. Nowadays, everyone scores 90%. I'm sorry, I mean, even my sons. So that time, scoring 60% was quite tough in our times. I was humiliated a lot of times. Lot of time I was humiliated. I used to come back crying. She laughed at me. Even, trust me, some parents, my friends' parents also, they laughed at me. How much did you get? Oh, you got this? You won't be. And this is my life experience. My father, when I came back and told, my father said, how does it matter in your life what he and she is saying? Why you just do try, and whatever you can at your best, you get it. It does not matter. They would not matter in your life. You won't even maybe remember them after 10 years, or when you go to college, or you go to profession. If you sit on crying with what they told you today, it will just spoil you. You're wasting your time in thinking about it and feeling bad about it. Instead, you just start your study immediately for tomorrow's exam. I have till date maintained this in my life. Who can say that they have not crossed path with people who didn't try to pull them down, who didn't try to discourage them? But it is you, only you and you and you, who can think that ignore, let go, proceed ahead. This is one part. What was the second part of your question? I'm sorry. There was two parts. How do you cope up with? Again, you said, that when you know you're doing your best.
Yes, ma'am. How to cope up with such situations?
Yes, my dear. So I told you how to cope up with such. You have to let it go. You have to ignore petty issues. Again, you have made already a statement for yourself that you've given your best. I'm sure you can give better for that. So you don't decide for yourself, as I said, that what is best for you, what the situation is requiring from you is the best, what you can give.
Okay, can I?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay. We have Neha. Neha,
hi, Neha.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. Your session was very informative. It was actually really good, and it was very motivating too. And I have a small query, ma'am. What I notice is most people always try creating a good impression during their first meeting itself. but all the situations do not meet our expectations. So how are we actually supposed to let the other person know that their first impression on us isn't the best one?
See, first impression is the last impression. There's a proverb, I fully agree with you. When you're facing an interview, suppose when I'm now before the conducting the session, okay, so what we do is prepare ourselves. One thing which is a big no is don't go anywhere without preparation. Okay, which means that even if you go in the best of your attire, best of your cosmetics, what you do, I can't comment too much on it, I don't, but when you cannot talk on the subject which you are supposed to, suppose when I am talking to you, okay, when I'm talking to all the students here and facing youngsters of today's are the most difficult task. Ask me, because I have two sons at home. One is 24 and one is 19. So the toughest work to do is because you all are really very bright. We weren't that bright at our age. You all are very well informed. You all are very practical, bit impatient. That is the only thing this generation needs to work upon. But you all are wonderful people, and no one can fool you all. Honestly, trust me, no one can fool you all. So if I don't come prepared, now what is preparation? If I present something to you which I'm not, and I'm not being able to deliver, then that's a bad impression. If I belong to communication, I am supposed to know all the verticals of communication. I am supposed to know all the aspects of communication. I'm supposed to know everything. Now, again, everything is a broader word, but as much as possible about communication. So suppose you're interviewing a COPCOM. Suppose I go to you, I have applied for a job with you as a COPCOM head, and I go to you. I go with my best in sarees, my best, the way I look, and I cannot answer your queries. That is a bad impression. Okay. So when an interviewer, nowadays, the concept of interview also has changed. Many, trust me, I know many organizations, because I speak with my peer group, they don't even see your mark sheet. They talk to you, they understand your personal life, they gauge your behavioral pattern. Okay. So there you have to be best. And how you can be best? Knowledgeable about your subject, current affairs. Make yourself enough educated that you can go and face anyone in the world where especially your subject is concerned. If you don't know your subject and you have already only mugged up your lessons and scored something even with your 95%, it does not take you anywhere ahead in life. Maybe it can give you a job, intermittent first job. But the impression what you can create is only with your knowledge, your peripheral studies, your current affairs, keeping yourself abreast with whatever is happening, and your smart way of working. Again, my smart, I mean not your only personality, but the drivers of the abbreviation SMART, which I told you, which can make you a very confident individual. You will be accepted. I am confident.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay. So I will go to the next question. That is Sadia, who has a question.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, can you explain what is it that differentiates
Sadia, you can speak a little louder.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you explain what is it that differentiates attribute from behavior?
Behavior is at times very, situational. Like how at that moment, what your trigger in the mind is, how you're reciprocating to the situation, suppose if I say, hey, Sadia, what are you wearing at? You say, what the hell are you talking? How are you bothered what I'm wearing? If I say, hey, Sadia, you're looking beautiful. You act, you see automatically a smile came on your face. So this is the way you're behaving. Your attributes are what is ingrained in you. Even if I talk to you in a rude tone, if the attribute in you is to be polite, you will say, hold on, why are you speaking to me like this? This is, I mean, you don't know me well, right? So, I think it's okay. Tell me what you need from me, apart from what I'm wearing and how I'm looking or how I'm talking. You tell me. Attribute is, again, makes your attitude. The attributes which you have in you, your gentleness, your discipline, your politeness, your upbringing, your values and beliefs which you're brought up with, in your institution, what you're learning, at your home, what you're learning. So behavioral at times not exactly is proportional to your attributes. It is very situational at times, many times. But if you can follow your attributes, the qualities which you have in you, attributes are them, the virtues which you have in them, your behavior will be a manifestation of it. And it always will be as per the situation. I'm not saying if someone comes and insults you, you just be, oh my God, please. I mean, I really don't believe in it. Okay. You will give back, but you will give back in your own quality way.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sadia, is your question answered?
Yes, ma'am.
Next,
no, you can tell me, I really love counter questions, and no, I don't agree you, because that helps in my learning. It makes me think later.
I totally agree on you.
And she was asking for something about negative attitude also, I think.
Yes, ma'am. How are we supposed to deal with people with negative attitude?
You just have to ignore and avoid them. Because, honestly, I'm telling you, they radiate negativity. And after a point of time, if you stick to, even if it's a selfish thing, honestly, I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong to be selfish. I'm sure, your professors will not agree. These are not the terms which a, teacher or a mother will say. Please be selfish. You have to be selfish about yourself. You should know what is good for yourself. If you feel that person is negative energy to you, please avoid. Not drastically. It maybe at times it cannot help you, but slowly take you away from it, because it will only give you negativity and regressiveness.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, shall I go to the next question? I think we have Sindhu here from the final year EC who wants to interact with you. Sindhu?
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Hi, I can't see you. Wait, I can see you now.
Yeah, hello, ma'am. Great session.
Hi. Thank you.
So currently, I am ready to step into the industrial part of my life. I'm going to start my career. So I have finished my internship recently, and so I have seen how industry works and all. So at times it is like circumstances affect our emotional state, and at the same time we are about to attend anything professional. So at times our mind is not stabilized. So, and also there might be situations when we are our ideas are not selected, or a person whose ideas we genuinely feel are not as good as ours still get selected in all of such situations. And sometimes when you're not emotionally stable, I believe that emotional stability affects the attitude we maintain. So, would you like to speak on that note?
See, one thing I must tell you, which I also said, that what we think is right may not be think. Suppose your organization has some target for its revenue generation. Okay, so or some other reason. Maybe there are many organizations which is a partnership. They work in partnership with the government. So at times they are many times they have their restrictions in doing certain things, because they are governed by the government to a large extent. So they know the background story, and that is the reason maybe they have come up, because in companies there are board of directors, which is not one mind but many minds which think the good for the company, the benefit of the company. So maybe that is the reason they have given you something, a project, and told you in a certain way to do it, and the outcome of it they have defined for you. But you may be feeling that from your perspective of good and bad, or right and wrong, that no, this is not right. Why are they saying this? maybe see, when they have opened the company, they know they will first see their benefit. So definitely if they're saying it and telling you to do it, maybe for certain reason where it will be a revenue for the company, and if it brings the revenue for the company or a betterment for the company, as an employee, you will also be positively impacted. So don't get bogged down. See, in life, okay, in every day-to-day life, okay, maybe when you're going to your lab and speaking to your lab teacher, or even speaking to one of the subject teachers, okay, maybe you will not agree to what she's saying. She may not agree to what you're saying. So the adjustment should be so that it does not affect the work. Okay, I know. I mean, see, talking is very easy. Every day in office, and I have faced it multiple times. Trust me. Let me tell you, the first thing where I had to fight for my acceptance is that whether she can do it because she's a lady. This I have faced most of the part of my life. If I would have thought and cried and fought against it, I wouldn't be able to do what I wanted to do. Rather, I said, okay, let me try. If I cannot, I'm ready to give it to someone. Prove yourself in that. And I had to prove myself in every step of my life in many organizations. I have worked in 4 or 5 organizations. Acceptance of ladies, to all due respect to the men here, is still a problem. So now what do? I cry behind and I feel depressed, come back home and radiate the negative energy at my house? No point, because if 10 people are affected by your negative energy. So what happens is you have to see that if I want to work here, I have to accept to, or I don't call it compromise. Compromise is a different term. Adjustment, I would say. And this adjustment, Sindhu, you have to make in your life throughout, with your family, with your husband, with your in-laws, with your siblings, with your parents. That this is called a conducive way of living. So don't get bogged down. It will not be once. Let me warn you, this caution for you. It will come number of times where you will feel this is not the way of doing it. And the person will tell you that, no, I want you to do in this way. If at times your idea, you have to put forth for sure that, okay, I think I have a different idea, but no problem, I'll get into your idea. So what happens is you are already giving your idea. In case it turns out to be a success, you understand, no, that idea was right. If it doesn't, the person understand that maybe your idea was right. So that way, that adjustment you have to understand in your life, and you will face this in many aspects of your life, especially in profession. You have to be mentally prepared for that.
Yeah, thank you.
We are running out of time. One last question, though there are many questions here. One last question from Sapan. Sapan, quickly ask your question. Sapan, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, I'm
Sapan, ma'am. So my question is that, ma'am, that I feel that everyone stresses on having a positive attitude on situations and how it eventually makes things better. So considering the current situation where our lifestyle has turned upside down and there's no outings, there's no friends, there's no fun, just there's continuous lockdown. So how do we fight back the dullness, which is very tough for most of the people in the current situation? And how do we still stay positive?
Yes. That's what I said, that collective effervescence is something, the sociological term which I used is unity in thinking. One. Second thing is that while I am talking to you, Sapan, my next door neighbor, 3 people are COVID positive. Just my next door. In my office, there are some cases for which my office is closed now. My maids are not being, let come into the building, right? So you know how much, extra work you have at your house. If I would have kept this in my mind and think about it, I wouldn't have been able to come and speak to you today. I would have said, no, ma'am, I'm not in the mental frame of mind to speak to anyone. Life goes on. Your work goes on. Life will not wait for you. Time will not wait for you. This day will not come again. The 9th of July 2020 will not come in your life again. What you have to do is follow the safety norms, the behavioral which I said. If you're not having your colleges, you don't have your college, so at least the going and coming time you're saving on the commute. Utilize that time in do some reading. Help people at home. At my house, in this entire lockdown, I have 2 sons. So my husband and 2 sons and me, we did every work. And for you, particularly boys, tomorrow you will enter your family life. There is nothing called a man's work and a woman's work. Trust me. Yes. Every work in the household is everyone's responsibility, everyone's work. Try to devote time, pursue your old hobbies. Do some good reading, watch some good movies. Okay. And you need not have to always come and log into these Gyan sessions, because it becomes very boring. Webinars are becoming very traumatic at times. So choose the right ones which you want to, and just chill. That you have to accept. What did I say? Adaptability. You have to be adaptive to the change which is happening. You have nothing else to do right now. You cannot help it. You have to be in this situation. So make the best out of it. That is the only thing which can keep you live. Otherwise, you'll really go mad.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have this another question. I'm sorry if I can take this.
No, please take. I'll only take 2 minutes permission from ma'am to talk little bit on our metro later on, last.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, during the session, you spoke about the importance of learning the art of letting go, and how that I feel that in every single situation, underlying thing is what are you holding on to and what you're letting go. Because the more you're holding on to certain problems, that just keeps running in your mind, and it can cause problems later. So how do we exactly go around this? Like, what are the things that we should focus on letting go, and what are the things that shouldn't be let go and should be given our attention?
Yeah. So which you think that, it is not making you happy. The very situation is not making you happy. You have to let go, like we have just spoken. You have to let go of the situation, what has come. You have to accept it. So if you think that, okay, let me deal with it. It's not exactly making me happy, but deal with it. You have to think why you want to deal with it. Whether it's going to help you tomorrow for anything. If you think, you please deal with it. Even if it's bitter in taste, but please deal with it. Deal with it and try to get to just to resolve coming to some adjustment with that particular person. Talk it out. Speaking out is also a very good thing to do, instead of keeping it in your mind and brooding over it. Any rift, any conflict, if you think that, okay, let us talk it out and resolve it, or let us think it, or think of a solution. No, see, don't spend too much on the problem, but think on the solutions. And you have to just note it down. Everything don't keep in your mind. Be a very methodical, a very meticulous person, and the professional approach of working, bring into your personal life also. Like I always tell people, the best CEOs are the mothers in the house. They manage facility, they manage HR, they manage I don't know, time management, administration, everything. Okay, so they cannot be a better CEO than the mothers. So similarly, bring that professionalism in your personal life also. Note down one by one. Okay, I have this problem. Point number 1, what is the problem? Who's creating the problem? What can be the way to resolve it? Whether it's worth resolving it. If it is not, just throw it away.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the only way you can deal it, because the sermons and speech will not help you. You handling the situation, because you know the situation better, will only help you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a really lovely session that we all had. We enjoyed it. It was like not talking to somebody of such high stature who is managing such a big position. It's like just one among us. It's maybe sometimes I even felt like you are one of the students who are talking. So,
thank you so much. No. I don't want to again study, and engineering is something which I won't even get admission anywhere. I just, ma'am, with your permission, I have to just talk quick 2 words about our metro. I mean, I'm sure all belong, you Hyderabadis. I at least feel, and I hope that you all have traveled in metro at least once. So it's Hyderabad, you should be very proud about the fact that Hyderabad Metro Rail, it's not a pride of Hyderabad only, but it's world's largest PPP project. World's, not India's, world's largest private public-private partnership project in the metro sector. no other metros in the world. So we have most metros are government driven metros. We are the PPP, like Bombay, and this is emerging as we have total now 69.2 kilometers, and with 3 corridors. One is from Miapur to LB Nagar. The second corridor is from JBS to MGBS, and the third is from Nagol to Raidurg, which we have. And the project is integrated with existing railway system network, MMTS, and also bus stations to ensure seamless travel. We have we completely run on communication based technology, which is called CBTC, which means automated technology. And it need not be that it has to be driven manually, but we are capable of that. Our entire the 69.2 kilometers of network runs from one section. It is in Nagol, and once the lockdown is removed and things become normalized, maybe I invite your college also to come and have the entire OCC system for engineering people. Maybe we can be of some interest also, how from one unit, one place, the entire city network works. And we worked on boulder-less technologies, because railway, you have seen with boulders on the tracks. Here we don't have. So it's a very different world altogether. And the women here in your your faculties, and also the girl students here will be very happy to know that we have many loco pilots, and the majority of them are women. So even the first train, the inaugural train, which where Honorable Prime Minister of India rode, was driven by a lady loco pilot, and that is, they are really, really our pride of Hyderabad Metro. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Divya ma'am to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam. On behalf of VJIT, I take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks for this webinar session on all that count is right attitude. At the outset, I thank our distinguished speaker, Mrs. Anindita Sinha, for making this webinar very interesting and meaningful. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence, ma'am. We are all inspired by your great words. Thank you. I would also like to thank our management for giving their constant support in organizing such valuable webinars. I thank our director, Dr. E. Sai Baba Reddy sir, and principal ma'am, Dr. A. Padmaja madam, for their enthusiastic support in giving this opportunity to all the faculty and students of VJIT. I'm sure all the participants have benefited personally and professionally from their participation in this session. I would like to thank the organizing team for conducting the session in an excellent manner. Our heartfelt thanks to all the students for their active participation. I once again thank Mrs. Anindita Sinha for the wonderful session and all the participants for making this webinar a big success.
Thank you, Divya. And I request all the participants to come live for one big applause to Madam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Thanks. Bye, all of you.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye. All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Praveen sir?
Ma'am, Praveen sir leru. Shall I end the session now?
Yes. You